This year, RMC is opening two insane-looking coasters, ArieForce 1, the huge coaster coming to the tiny park, and Wildcat's Revenge, the RMC conversion of the old Wildcat. One of the biggest questions about these coasters is which will be better. Today, I'm going to go over the layouts and stats of each ride to figure out what will be the best new RMC of 2023. We'll go ahead and start off with the stats. They're both very similar stat-wise, but ArieForce 1 is slightly taller at 154 feet compared to Wildcat's 140, and Arie's slightly faster at 64 miles per hour compared to Wildcat's 62 miles per hour. But Wildcat is a little longer at 3,500 feet compared to Arie's 3,400 feet. As you can see, the stats are very similar. ArieForce 1 will get 2 points, and Wildcat's Revenge will get 1. Next section is the layout, arguably the most important section, obviously. Both coasters have a pre-lift section, but Wildcat's is just a little bit longer, and it looks to be just a smidge better. ArieForce 1 has a good-looking pre-lift, but really nothing special, it's just a few bunny hills. Wildcat will get a point. Both of the drops are very similar. Wildcat has a 140-foot drop at 82 degrees, and ArieForce 1 has a 146-foot drop at 83 degrees. They'll both get a point because they probably just both feel the same. Both of the rides will then head into inversion after the first element. Wildcat will head into an underflip while ArieForce 1 heads into the world's only Raven Trust Dive. It is basically just a dive loop with an airtime hill before it inverts, and an underflip is basically just a 0G roll that heads into an inclined helix. ArieForce 1 will get the point for the better first inversion. Both rides then head into an airtime hill. ArieForce 1 has a very small speed hill that also turns to the left a little bit, while Wildcat has a big ejector camelback. Though I think that they will both be probably pretty close, Wildcat does get the point just because it is sustained ejector. Next up are the 0G stalls. ArieForce 1 will have the largest stall in North America and will be located just under the truss structure, just like Zadra and Energylandia. Wildcat will have a normal stall in the structure, just like Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa. The one on ArieForce 1 is longer and appears to be a lot slower. ArieForce 1 will easily get the point. The reason why I compared Iron Gwazi and Zadra's stalls to the ones on ArieForce 1 and Wildcat is because I think that they will compare similarly. Arie's stall will be like one of the star elements, just like on Zadra, while Wildcat's will probably be a pretty forgettable part, just like on Iron Gwazi. Also, the stall on ArieForce 1 will be the second largest in the world, second to the one on Zadra. The next comparison is the double up and the double down. ArieForce 1 features a double up with a drop almost back to ground level after the second hill. Wildcat's Revenge has a double down that starts up higher and goes all the way back to the ground. It also will be turning left during the airtime hills. Though the one on Wildcat looks way faster throughout, ArieForce 1 will hit it at a higher speed and will feature sustained airtime at the top. I think that ArieForce 1 should take the point for that. The next inversion on each ride is a roll. Wildcat will head into a slow but floaty 0G roll, while ArieForce 1 will head into a fast whippy barrel roll. ArieForce 1 will easily take the point because of the speed, whip, and the fact that you fly over the arcade. Both coasters will then head into a low-to-the-ground turn. ArieForce 1 is advertised to pull 3.75 Gs on that turn, while Wildcat's Revenge just goes into an overbank turn. RMC tends to do very good overbank turns, and Wildcats also looks to pull some very high G-forces. This is one that we don't really know which will be better, but for now I'm giving Wildcat the point because it still does look pretty intense. Next up is another barrel roll on ArieForce 1 and another 0G roll on Wildcat's Revenge. The roll on ArieForce 1 is taken at a much higher speed and is short but snappy. The roll on Wildcat looks slow but floaty. Both will be great, but once again, ArieForce 1 will take the point. For the finale, both rides will have a bunch of little bunny hops. Wildcat heads into a series of random bunny hills, while ArieForce 1 heads into a quad down, plus one hill at the beginning. So because each ride ends with the same thing, just in different amounts, I'm going to give a point to every pop of airtime the coaster has in the finale. For the next section of this video, I'm going to talk about aesthetics, as in the paint scheme, presentation, and etc. First off, the trains. Both will use RMC's new swing axle trains, such as the ones on Iron Gwazi and Steel Vengeance. But Wildcat's Revenge will have 3 6-car trains, while ArieForce 1 will have 2 5-car trains. The front cars are also very different. Wildcat has a super cool statue of a Wildcat jumping out of the train, while ArieForce 1 has a sleek paper airplane style front car. I really like both designs, and they are probably 2 of my favorite front car designs out there, but I do think Wildcat's Revenge will take the cake just because all 3 of the cars will have different statues. Both trains for ArieForce 1 are also different different, but they just changed the colors. They didn't really put much more effort into it, but hey, I can't complain. It's better than some other rides. Now that I've run out of elements to compare, here's a speed round of every element on the rides that deserves a point. ArieForce 1 will have an outer banked airtime hill. That's 2 points because, well, it's an outer banked airtime hill. It also has another mini outer banked airtime hill that'll probably give more sideways airtime, which will hopefully fill in the lack of wave turns. That's another point. And the chili dip, you cannot forget about the chili dip. Another point. Wildcat's Revenge also has 2 wave turns, so I am giving it 2 points. And there's also an off-axis airtime hill on Wildcat's Revenge towards the beginning that I do not think is necessarily worth a whole point, so I will just give it half. So now comes the presentations. This includes the color scheme and, well, the presentation. Wildcat has a dark, ominous theme, so they went with a dark red track, brown wood supports, and black steel supports. And you know what? This might just be my favorite color scheme ever. The brown dark structure will be very intimidating with the black truss structure and the dark red track, and just add some smoke machines and you've got one of the best coaster presentations in the world. Why do I say one of them? Because ArieForce 1 is easily the best coaster in the world when it comes to presentation. Now, this ride doesn't have some cool reveal where you walk around a corner and you just see it. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's actually when you're driving that you get the big reveal. When you drive up to this park, especially coming from the north, you just are driving through trees and then all of a sudden you are revealed to this massive RMC steel coaster. The huge see-through truss structure with the stall underneath it is just a beautiful sight, and if you timed it with the coaster running, you could probably make an enthusiast cry. Not to mention the red and blue track colors that pop up against the white structure. Even when you do walk up to the ride, you are greeted with a massive double up that you walk under to get to the entrance. So while I do slightly prefer the colors on Wildcat's Revenge, ArieForce 1 will get 2 points for the presentation, and Wildcat will get 1 for the colors. And now for our last category, I'm going to go over theming. Both coasters probably won't have that much theming, but it doesn't seem like Wildcat Station will be themed at all, while ArieForce 1 will have a hangar-themed station building. So while ArieForce 1's station is technically just a big metal box, and that'll probably be miserable to stand in there because there's no way that thing's getting under 100 degrees on a summer day, you do gotta give Fun Spot an A for effort. Both rides probably won't have any theming in the queues, though we don't really know for sure right now. So for now, I'm just going to give ArieForce 1 the point for that station because we don't really know what the queues are going to be like. So there you have it. ArieForce 1 wins the competition and looks like it'll be the best new ride of 2023 in the US, if not the whole world. And you know what? I think that ArieForce 1 might even have a chance at world domination and it could become the best coaster ever. It probably won't happen, but I guess we'll have to see next November. And if you'd like to hear more about this world domination thing, the video will be linked in the description and in the end cards. Wow, that was hard to say. And if you'd like to see some more roller coaster content, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. And so with that said, please make sure to have a thrilling rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.